if he wants to, I'm going to have the wonderful award-winning accountant and justice campaigner Anthony Badaloo on the show. And you know, he's been on the show many times before. I told you about his website, www.scambuster.tv, and it's a petition site to stop court order scams. He's been exposing the scam court orders being dished out at a high cost to the people, and a cash cow for the few. So he has. And tonight he's going to be talking about the trump card on fake warrants and what's been going on with Donald Trump. And he will explain how the Maffia raid and all the rest of it with falsified warrants. So that's going to be in the first part of the show. In the second and third part of the show, I will be bringing you, well, for the second part, I will be talking about Damnations. Now, what is Damnations? It is a subscription website where you can, for just £4 a month, equivalent to 13 pence a song, support and discover talented new bands across the world through the Damaged Records gang, and you'll be the first to hear tracks because they're all brand new releases, and it will be actually going live, the subscription, the third edition of Damnations in the next couple of days, or maybe even tomorrow, but we'll get the first item out of the bag. And then I will be obviously bringing you Rebellion Hour, where I will be announcing bands and playing bands that have already
I'm with you, Sean.
fantastic. It's absolutely great to have you here on Out of the Bag again. And I want to thank you so much, actually, for more than one thing. First of all, I did have another guest lined up, and you stepped in when they dropped out at the last minute. So I want to thank you so much. I know you're an incredibly busy man, and you've gone ahead and said yes to me, and here you are. The other thing I want to say to my listeners is that if it wasn't for this great man, I would be probably languishing in either a mental facility or a prison as we speak, based on these false scam court orders, which I am facing myself. So Anthony, how are you?
I'm great, thanks. I'm great. Always ready, you know. You got to be ready all the time. So it's wonderful to be back on your show, and each time we've been on your show, something great has happened. I think the last time or the time before, I can't remember, we had released these documents called Check My Court File, and many people have been downloading and sharing them, and the government's claiming that they're deleting court files. Why would you delete court files? There was never any legitimate court file in the first place. So we see how that will play out. And you've had your battles, and you're plodding along, but you know, at least you know on a deeper level what's really going on. And
yes, absolutely.
Yeah. So now we have Mr. Trump himself questioning the warrant on which the FBI raided his home.
Well, for those that don't really listen to the news and they want to step out of that sort of society, I've got a lot of listeners who don't even go near the news because it's so negative, fear-filled. So maybe you can explain exactly what's going on.
Well, I'm one of those who I wouldn't say I don't listen to the news, but I don't watch TV and the mainstream media. I tend to get my information from different sources, different channels, like BitChute and so on, where it's not been censored and edited. And when I watch things like the BBC, I cringe because I'm aware of the half that they're never telling, like what comes on your podcast. And it leads to a lot more freedom and a lot more you know, you can be a lot more aware of things and yourself because you're not constantly being driven into fear unnecessarily. Maybe sometimes you're driven into more fear, but at least you know what the real deal is. but you also can get the time to meditate and to cope and to realize, well, fear is, what do they say? False evidence appearing real.
Absolutely. I use that with people often. I often use that acronym because that is exactly
Yeah.
what it is.
Yeah. So, so many people are the victims of false court orders, and the one type of court order that trumps all, if you pardon the pun, is the warrant, because that's the one that allows them to use violence against you.
Did you say the warrant?
Yeah, you know,
Yes.
if someone says they have a county court judgment or something against you, it's a civil matter. They can't do nothing. You know, but if they want to take your car or your child or your home, or your physical body, it is necessary for them to say they have a warrant. So that crosses the line between, you know, legal proceeding and violence. So what they're saying
Yes.
is, we can use violence against you to bring you into court, to bring you into prison, to take belongings off you with force, if we have a warrant. So warrant came about, I think the root of it is war. The Queen has to declare war on you. That's what it means. Like, I believe it goes back into King John. He was a bit of a womanizing king and spendthrift, and he used to hammer the people and take money and taxes off them all the time. And then the barons circled the castle and said, we're going to burn this thing down. And he made a truce with them and say, look, I'm giving you all the same rights in your home as I have in my castle.
Mm.
So the only way anyone can remove me from my castle is to defeat me in a war.
Right. And the word itself is warrant, isn't it?
Well, yeah. So what he said is, I'm giving everyone the same right. That's where the term an Englishman's home is his castle. That's where it comes from. That in order for him to do anything to you or to come and raid your home, he needs a warrant. He has to declare war on you. So a warrant is not a simple piece of paper. It is a constitutionally very powerful, very significant document. And I say the word document reservedly because it's not a document, it's a process.
Mm.
You know, anyone can show you a Guinness label and say it's a warrant, but it must be backed up by due process. Someone must have made an application for it.
Absolutely.
Yes. They must have sworn an affidavit with a penalty of perjury saying, well, if I lie to request this warrant, I'm committing perjury and I'm going to go to jail for a very long time. It's treason. Mm. There has to be filed in the court. It has to be sealed. There has to be computer records. In the civil court, there has to be a fee paid and a receipt issued. And the victim, I said the word victim, has access within 72 hours if he wants to verify any of these things, to check if someone is committing crime or fraud against them, to try and physically deprive them of their property or their freedom.
Yeah, or their liberty, yes.
Yeah. So now we've been aware from a long time, since they did various wrongs to me, including locking me in a prison without wormwood scrubs, without a prosecution. And I started on my journey in 2015. And, you know, I understudied Mr. Gedaliahu Ebert, who wrote the book, The Forensics of Legal Fraud. And he's been in the game 20 odd years before me.
Okay.
And between myself and him, we've investigated hundreds of warrants. I mean, over 100 on myself alone. And we've never found one that was actually authentic.
So no due process was ever followed. And does that mean that there are criminal judges pouring out these court orders?
There are two levels. There's one level where they just make it up. They don't even have it. They can't even produce it. They just say they have it. And then the police will come along if you defend your property, which you have a right to do. And the police will say it's a civil matter. If you're disputing it, you must go to court, which is part of the scam that you see, we did something called the Pyramid of Terror, where the local authority, the court staff, and the illegal bailiff are in a kind of a triangle. So anywhere you run to, there's nobody to help you. Forget the Citizens Advice Bureau. They're part of the racket. Find out who is donating.
Absolutely, yeah.
Who is donating the money. And we have never seen the Citizens Advice Bureau question a court process or a warrant before in our, many clients who sought this assistance. They will never do it. So we have to say that the people that we have come to trust and believe I believe you had some crisis with the Catholic priests in Ireland some years ago, where the whole nation was in crisis because the people they trust, they found out that they betrayed their trust because they couldn't mentally come to terms with that. It's the same problem we have. If you go on the street and told someone that the people in the council are running a mafia business, child trafficking, fake warrants, social services are taking children, just saying they have a court order, and it is nothing can be verified as the case. The police coming to back them up, and they take these kids, change their names. These kids will never be able to identify their family or their background, and then they get abused in the system and trafficked.
Yeah.
And the only place they can go to is to one of the perpetrators.
Yeah.
And so we have this system closed, and it's only because of social media and programs like yours, Sean, that people can be getting some publicity and reach an audience, which is find it very difficult to accept or to, when if someone was to come to the acceptance that the local authority chief executive, the chief constable of the police, the judge in the court, the head of the Ministry of Justice are like all raking in money and doing unspeakable things to children.
Yes.
It's not about believing. It's about your whole reality is shifting. It becomes an emotional crisis. And that's why people go into denial, because how can this be true?
Yes. They can. It's so unbelievable. The truth is quite unbelievable, and the due process that's never been followed and should have been followed, they just ignore anyone who points it out to them.
Well, they ignore it because it's an organized crime. All the people you can go to for a remedy and for to do something. Even the press, I must say, they will not act. I mean, we've had our campaign on scambuster.tv for coming up many years now, and we have case after case. We've proven the case. All the cases we done are proven properly through the courts. We've got the evidence in writing and so on. And yes, no press has reported our case. A few press have reported it, but in a kind of backhanded sort of way. They will say, Mr. Badaloo fights back against something or other with a petition, but they will never acknowledge the content of the petition and the gruesome exposure of what is going on.
Has no journalist ever sat down with you and been willing to take a statement from you and be able to print that in full?
We've had many journalists. We've had journalists from Hammond High newspaper. We've had a couple of little publications in the Financial Times. Someone told me it was in Private Eye. We've seen in a newspaper called Financial Advisor. A few little things, but someone like the Sunday Times, they followed me around for 9 months. And so all the work I'm doing collected a lot of data.
Yes.
And when it came to publication, they just went silent. So I spent all this time of my life thinking that's the time the famous Patrick Cullinan died, because he was we were working together at the time and doing some great stuff. And
yeah, I met Patrick when he was in Dublin. He's an amazing man.
So he had an appointment with the reporter from the Financial Times that day, the day he died. And he was supposed to be there. He didn't turn up. I was supposed to be there, but it was Patrick Cullinan's day, because he got the evidence and the proof that his bankruptcy and the theft of his property and so on, it was all made up paperwork. And he knew all along, but now he got documentary proof. You see, nobody can argue with documents. This is the thing. So the same day he was supposed to turn up, he didn't turn up because he died. He was dead.
Yeah.
And the guy from the Sunday Times, he said he didn't have an appointment with Patrick, but I was supposed to be there as well, so I know there was an appointment. So I don't know why he would deny. And his MP, Robert Blackman, his MP in Harrow, we contacted him, we did all this stuff, and he did absolutely nothing.
It just goes to show that maybe even Patrick was taken out, possibly.
Well, his death was suspicious. We want to do, on the anniversary of his death, want to do a little tribute, something to him, maybe on your program, I don't know, but just put together a little thing. But you see, on the particular day, there was a gentleman working with us called Victor, and he phoned Patrick's sister called Eileen, I think on the Sunday, and he recorded the conversation. And Eileen was there lamenting that Patrick died. He was putting on his shirt. She was giving a lot of details.
Yes. Because
people phoned the ambulance. There was no ambulance came. There was a lot of suspicious things. There was no... we couldn't find his body. So I filed with a couple of people missing persons report to the police. And they chucked us out of the police station. We went away. When we got to the car park, we thought, oh, you know what? This is not right. And we went back, went back into the police station. And all of a sudden, they just treated us very nice. It's so weird. And they listened to us. We had a written missing persons report, which was nicely and professionally written and signed by 3 or 4 people. And they said we should give them a couple of hours. They will go through some process. And they did. And they called us back and they said he's not in any hospital, any morgue. He's not in nowhere. So we're recording it as a missing person, and they gave us a missing person's number. And that number is still open today.
Wow. So I mean, Patrick was found, wasn't he?
Well, there was a published in the papers. There was a funeral somewhere in Ireland, and I believe it was Christmas Eve. A lady went and she did everything live on the radio. I was listening on the radio, and she went to the chapel where the funeral was allegedly taking place, and nobody was there. And she got it on the record from the priest. There was no such funeral book there.
Wow.
Yeah, this was live on the radio. So, people made calls to the ambulance live on the radio. Did anyone call you for Patrick Cullinan? Did you attend? Nobody attended. So, the sister, Eileen, was telling this guy that, you know, Patrick died, he had this, that, the other, he had a heart attack. She's talking like a doctor. And then she said, and his car was on the drive. Now, Sean, I was working on the case for Patrick to try to restore his car from the Daffyd Powys police, who had confiscated his car a short while before, and the car was in the pound in Wales. And the sister was saying the car was on the drive when she came to the house. Bloody lie.
Wow, somebody is lying. Yeah, someone is lying somewhere. aren't
So, you know, it's the same problem. He had really found them out, and it's definitely, there is a missing persons report. His sister did tell a lie about the car. The ambulance did confirm they didn't collect the body. So when we had the death certificate, by the way, we digress into Patrick Cullen a little bit, but when we had the death certificate,
we can get back on track, but it's good. It's good what you're saying.
When we had the death, because it's never been said like this before in one piece, you know. Maybe we should cut this piece of video about Patrick Cullen. But you know, when we got the death certificate, it wasn't signed. And I sent an email because I was authorized by Patrick Cullinan to act on his case. I sent an email to the coroner in Barnet. I just said, this death certificate is not signed. Can you tell me if it's legitimate? You know, something like that. Very simple. I'm always very simple. I got a legal threat from Haringey, a different counsel, solicitor, that I should stop interfering and all this kind of thing. Well, all I'm asking is, why is this death certificate legitimate? You know, so this is another element. But I think we should put all of this together and do something for the guy, because he's left such a huge legacy and inspired so many people, not less myself. And the Sunday Times guy is a bloody liar.
Yeah, yeah. It was an inspiration to me as well.
Yeah. So, you know, he called himself a common law lawyer, and he was helping as many people as he could. And he reached a point in his own case and stuff where it was exploding. And he did have some publication in the Guardian and different papers. But this one with the Sunday Times was a big one. Whether they would have published it, I don't know. But because nobody publishes things about false court orders. It's very, very rare. You know, very, very rare, because it's the golden secret of the so-called elite.
Mm-hmm. It's just a mafia, isn't it? I mean, that's what it is, and they're using the tools that should be on hand to be helpful to the people, on Garda Síochána, police, etc., to basically act on these false court orders.
Yes, the police comes along. They know the full game. I just read something in the papers somebody sent me. The City of London police arrested someone for putting false papers in the court. So I had a case where a solicitor put in false bankruptcy against me. And I managed to get the Law Society to tell him to stop. But I went there once to collect my files and stuff, and he wouldn't give me the files. So the police got involved and came along, which I videoed. I called it the psychic police. They kept telling me the solicitor is the owner of my file. But they wouldn't help me. They wouldn't do anything. And this guy is made up a false bankruptcy document against me. And here is the police. The same police wouldn't go after Luigi Bernardis, the solicitor, but here they are in the papers going after a normal member of the public for a slightly lesser crime. He's exaggerating some bills or whatever it is, but all the court cases we've investigated are all fabricated. So why aren't all these people being arrested? You know, so the police must be in the mafia.
Absolutely. I mean, I'm in a situation where none, absolutely zero of my court documents have been accepted. It's as though none of my papers have existed, and they've gone along and ordered
Yes.
court orders without full documentation.
They're printing a piece of paper and the word order is on it, and
You
they're
know,
trying to say
so
that's a court order.
Yes.
You know,
Yeah, because I've been served with a court order, but I haven't. I've been served with a fraudulent court order that hasn't got any of my documentation within it or even been looked at.
it's a sham document and it's a mafia. They are violent, but they have to be seen by the public as legitimate, honorable, all these things. And this is what they have been successful at doing, mainly because they're in control of the media. You know, now we have social media, like I keep saying, but it is a phenomenal thing, this social media, because I remember if you read about Mahatma Gandhi when he started up in South Africa, it was the same. Nobody would publish his activities. He actually started a newspaper company, Sean. That was his first thing he did, and got people to distribute it by hand, house to house. That's the only way he could get publicity for what he was doing.
Yeah, and before I was on radio, we were distributing the Sovereign Independent newspaper, and we used to deliver it around Ireland.
Super.
And, that's how we got the truth out to people. But that was obviously stopped, and it was infiltrated, and it ended up. I think the guy, I'll name him, Dave Darby, was just an MI6 operative, or definitely part of the mafia.
They always infiltrate. There is somebody called Bottling Cat on the internet. He copies all my work, all my blogs, videos, petition, and he puts it on his own blog.
Right.
And if you Google my stuff, he comes up above me on the search engine. So
of course
he is siphoning all the traffic. This is
so plagiarists out there claiming to do stuff. And
there's so much we have to overcome, but the thing is, we do have the opportunity. We do put it there on the social media. It's there for maybe forever, and we have alternatives to Facebook and alternatives to Google and the big tech giants that are censoring everything. And however, you know, people who want to be active have to dig deeper. We've got to just go that one little step deeper, because at the end of the day, the truth will prevail. You see, a lie is a fiction. The truth is real. So the truth is always going to prevail.
Well, let's hope so.
It just is, you know. But they can go for a long time with a lie, and but they have to put so much energy, so much corruption. But after a while, you think, is it really worth it for these bad guys? Is it worth all that? It's like your life is just wasted, you know? Imagine you're working at the council and you work in the council tax department. You're nailing people with fake liability orders. You're getting a good wage. You probably get some little children to molest on the weekend. You get perks, you get a press secretary, you get overseas holidays, but you come to the end of your life and you think, what did I do with my life? You know, just think about that.
They just ruined other people's lives. That was their occupation.
But their own life as well. Is that what kind of life did they live and experience? And the things they could have and should have been doing, they didn't do it. They were just engrossed in this. And I think people are recognizing. You see that lady who gave us the letter from Croydon Magistrate. We came on your program. We did the thing called the death of council tax. She just let it rip. She just told us everything in black and white, how the scam is running. And I think there must be more and more people like this every day that are just saying, look, I can't stomach this anymore. We've had bailiffs.
Sorry, say that again.
We've had bailiffs resign and telling people they've seen the petition and they don't want to do the job anymore. and stuff like that. So there's a lot. I've got lawyers telling me they love what I do. They would like to do what I'm doing. And
Yes.
many lawyers are following our petition, but they can't be seen to be following. If you think about it, Sean, we're running a campaign called Stop Court Order Scams.
Yes.
You would think every single solicitor in the entire country would sign up immediately to it.
Yeah, yeah. Look, I've been blackballed completely. I just spent about a week last week going to 3 or 4 different solicitors around Dublin because I'm blackballed completely in County Galway, which is apparently the only jurisdiction I'm allowed to get a solicitor. And all of them are very proud, so they say, of what I'm doing, but can't help me. Sorry, can't help me.
Well, the problem is if we look back at Donald Trump as a parallel to your case, yeah?
Absolutely. Look, I'm really sure that the Trump card is necessary to tell everybody about. And before you came on air, we had a little chat, and I knew nothing about this. So
yeah.
Yes, please tell that.
So the FBI raided his house. They wanted, according to them, classified information, classified document, which our ex-president is in charge of, fully legally. The problem is there was no need to do that because all they had to do was say to Donald Trump, we want some classified documents, because Trump never objected to anything. He didn't show any reason why they needed to raid his house to get what they want, because he would have just given them what they wanted. Because
he wouldn't have hindered their investigations at all. He would have gone along with it.
Right, and because he's a former president, those documents, the minute he can declassify at any moment because he has that authority. So they said they had a warrant and raided him and whatever. So the problem is, which I couldn't believe it. It was exhilarating for me. Donald Trump says, I want to see the warrant. Because
so he demanded to see the sealed warrant.
He wanted to see the warrant. He wanted to see not only the warrant, he wanted to see what did you file for the warrant? What did you, who sworn an affidavit to request this warrant? So normally public officials don't visit the warrant because that is their dirty little secret there. Imagine the life they're living on fake warrants. They're stealing property, they're stealing children, they're stealing cars. That is how the elite make money. They can't do. We all saw Rishi Sunak's wife, or how many billions she got. They're not earning it. They're not working and earning. They're just pilfering from someone else. And the main way they're doing it down the line is people work with sweat labor and build up maybe a family business or a nice home, pay down their mortgage, and then they just come along and say, we got a court order, we got a warrant, get out, like they did with me, and they rely on the fact that you have to get a lawyer, and then the lawyer will never question if it's an authentic, they would just pretend it. I had a lawyer called Timothy Deal, a barrister. He was my good friend. He used to come to my house, eat, all this. And he would never question anything. And after I found out myself and I got the computer records, I told him, he said, email it to me. I emailed it to him. What happened, Sean? He blocked my email, blocked my phone, blocked everything.
Well, Donald Trump is in a position, former president of the United States. Surely he would have the top solicitors, top barristers, and all that working for him. So what happened with those?
Okay, so this is what happened. First thing, Donald Trump is not supposed to do that because I think, from my understanding, from what I kind of observe, there is a unwritten rule that you must never question these things. So he questioned it. So he broke ranks now. Yeah.
Right.
Now, when he questioned it, the Attorney General comes forward and says, I requested the warrant. Everything is legit. But he didn't ask about that. He said, I want to see it. So then he got the evidence that the warrant was fraudulent. And
so was it signed by the Attorney General, this false fraudulent warrant?
No, not the Attorney General. The judge has to sign it, who granted.
Yeah.
But before that, they had to go through they have to file a request. They have to file, it's like a full application to the court with the evidence, because this is you're declaring war on someone. You have to have the material evidence.
Yes.
So there was no authentic affidavit sworn. There was no, the warrant wasn't sealed. It's basically sham. And I don't know if Donald Trump has the knowledge about the computer record. He should check Scambusters. Somebody said, "Oh, I think Donald Trump saw your campaign, because he's never seen anyone do this before." But the computer records, is another thing, because everything is got to be logged in the case management file on the computer, and the computer can't forget. So it's solid. Now the thing is, Trump thought to himself, "Now, well, I've got them. I'm taking them to the cleaners. They're finished." So he went to his lawyer, his long-standing lawyers, and said, "Let's clean them up." And boom, his lawyer says, "Mr. Trump, we don't want the case." So the case is already proven, Sean. Yeah.
It's incredible. Cut and dried, no problem. Any lawyer would just be licking his lips because everything is done and dusted for them.
Yes. And they will become famous because this is a former. Imagine how prestigious this is for them. So not only that, it doesn't end there. Donald Trump, the former president of the United States, has the evidence. So his case is proven. And just like you, Sean, he cannot find a single lawyer in all of America to take on his case.
Right. And I know Donald Trump, and anyone like a Joe Soap like myself, we're screwed, really, because we haven't got any of his power. We haven't got any of his contacts, etc.
Well, you have the same problem. You can't find a lawyer. I have the same problem. I can't find a lawyer. I've got my case sewn up. I got in writing from the court that I was never prosecuted, in black and white. Yeah. I've got in writing from the FCA, I was never disciplined, and yet they shut down my license to practice and my income. Yeah. I've been 4 years now without a salary, but money that I've already earned, I'm not getting it based on a court order, which the court confirmed does not exist, and they still won't restore me. I can't get a lawyer to take up any of this. You can't get a lawyer. Donald Trump can't get a lawyer. So in other words, no lawyer can go to the false court procedure. This is a no-go area. My lawyer.
Well, it would open up a massive can of worms, wouldn't it?
It would open up a can of worms. I mean, there's a lady called Dr. Shida Araki, and her son's a lawyer, and she got arrested once for something. Yeah. She calls me. She didn't call her lawyer son. Think about that.
Well, you think about this. When I got it, they put me in prison for a month, denied. I wasn't even charged with anything, but I was in prison for over a month.
Mm-hmm.
And the first person I spoke to properly was you.
Aye. So the thing is, my lawyer, when I was in prison, he was taking money from my family, and doing whatever. And when I came out, I said, where is the prosecution papers, the lay of information, not the bullshit that the CPS give you. That's not prosecution papers. That's what they do to scam people. You have to lay information. That's what you want, the lay of information. Where is it? And after asking 3 or 4 times, he sent me an email. So I have it in writing. Mr. Badaloo, I can't help you anymore because I'm professionally embarrassed.
Wow.
Yeah. So I believe that the Bar Association will not let them stay in work if they question these false court procedures. The Law Society, which is now called the Society Regulatory Authority, SRA now, they won't, no matter how you find the evidence that this a false case has been taken against you, they won't do anything about their member. So I believe the legal professionals have to sign, they swear an oath to serve the public, but they swore a secret oath to the Bar Association.
So do you think that there's going to be a shift in awareness and maybe lawyers will stand up and not accept this and be maybe I don't know, an off branch? Is that a possibility? Or
this is the problem. This is the problem, Sean, what I see. If a lawyer has been doing false cases by the dozen,
yes,
and they want to come out and say something or do something, they are going to be self-incriminating. I've got clients, Sean, who are lawyers, practicing lawyers, are my clients, paying me to help them on their case and do things they can't do. Well, they can do it, but it's no go areas. You know,
if they did, they'd be struck off, etc.
They will have comebacks. I don't know what kind of comeback. Someone told me, a guy called Mark Kishon Christopher, a lot of people know that name. He told me if they break rank
on my show.
Okay, he told me if they break ranks, they will get murdered.
Okay.
So he has a lot of experience. I don't know, but I got lawyers who I know who are friends or whatever, and I tell you a joke. When I had a lawyer give up his property for me to stay in when I was kicked out of my house without money. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Criminal defense lawyer. He prosecutes the police for a living. When I eventually got my computer records, which shows no prosecution, no conviction, no nothing, it's clean as a whistle, I showed it to him in black and white. So I thought the guy was going to help me, you know, he was going to do something and make a lot of money for himself. Do you know what he said to me?
Go on.
Only one response I got from him. He went, huh? That's all. He grunted. Because he didn't think anyone on the planet would actually get this. And if you get it,
what's happening is they thought they would never ever be found out.
Right. Carefully guarded secret. But the thing is, the computers can't lie. So when you get the case management file, sections 1, 2, and 3, you don't need a discussion with anyone. It tells you what you need to know. And you have a right to see the file. So the minute they don't show you the file, you know, they're guilty by their actions already. But it's a huge problem. Yes. It's an enormous problem. So I believe it's a bigger problem than the alleged COVID.
Well, I asked to see the case management file.
It's a problem. I got mine from the county court and the magistrate court, and it's my case is non-existent. I have it in writing on top of that, double. You know, the bread is buttered on both sides, and still I can't get a remedy. Because what are they going to do? They're going to even the judge on my case has been disciplined for making up false court orders on other cases. You know, so Nicholas Parfit, his name is, in Barnet County Court. So Mr. Trump can't get any legal representation because he talks about the warrant. This is all it is, because this is going to explode and implode at the same time. The whole Western world, there's a guy who used to work with us a lot called Peter Hoffman, a German guy. Mm-hmm. He got arrested in Austria just the other day, like maybe a couple of months, 4 months ago, on a fake warrant. He was in a restaurant with a bunch of people, and they come and said he breached the COVID rules. And then after that, they said, "Oh, we got a warrant for you." And then someone sent me the warrant. It's a piece of toilet paper. Then they put him into, then they transported him to Germany. And in Germany, they denied his parents to visit him. His two parents are in their 90s. And then they put him under a mental health examination, which he passed. Normally, they just sign you off. So he passed it. So they put him under another one, because they want to put him in a mental health, like John Patterson, in a mental health institution.
Well, they've done that to me. In 2017, I was put into a mental institute based on a false court order.
Yeah, so everything is false. Then you find nobody will sign those things. So they're having unsigned papers, unsealed papers. Who is telling me? Somebody, was it you? Who's telling? I don't know. Somebody was telling me they had this thing with the probation. Somebody prominent, and I thought, well, you need to write to the probation and ask them for the court order on which they're doing the probation. You know, probation is.
That wasn't me.
It'll come to me in a minute. But the thing is, The thing is, it is a big problem, and if it is happening to Donald Trump, just imagine what happens to a homeless Trump, from the Trump to the Trump.
I don't have to imagine anything. I have to tell you this, and you don't know about it. It was only a little while ago during the Galway Arts Festival. I was booked to do 6 appearances as a resident, if you like, in a bar in Galway, the Cellar Bar, and 10 minutes before going live on stage for my very first show, a Garda van pulls up, and I was arrested on a breach of a court order,
which they probably, I'm guessing, didn't have.
No, and I spent a night in the cell. I was in court the following morning, and I had to make my own way back to Galway.
Yeah. Well, you know,
after I did what you instructed me to do.
Well, I only instruct people to investigate things, you know, just investigate stuff, because somebody says, you know, they have a US dollar, and you go, oh no, this is a Zimbabwean dollar. You need to just have a look at things, you know, simple. So the big problem is the press. I mean, I'm ashamed of the press. They won't report on this. Although they're slowly edging into it now, because they have to report on Trump, isn't it? But no one has come along and put it like I'm putting it here. Yeah. You know, we have the same problem with Cressida Dick. People been saying the paper's publishing for years, she's in corruption, she's in this, she's that. We put out a update on the petition, and we said she's sitting on the top of a mountain of fake warrants. It's the warrant. How many people she and her all the police officers that come under her jurisdiction have deprived of their freedom and liberty, and deprived the children of their fathers and their mothers in some cases.
Yes.
Based on a warrant. How many? Who is going to investigate this one? Sean, by the weekend, she handed in her resignation because none of the press was dealing with this point.
Incredible.
So
Trump's lawyers,
yeah,
who have been working with him for maybe many
years,
they couldn't go ahead and help him, because if they did, it would uncover their own corruption.
It would cover their own corruption, and it would uncover their own corruption, and it would uncover the corruption on which the entire elite is got their wealth.
Yes.
Because these people, you go, what do you do for a living? I'm an MP. Okay, you earn, I don't know, 80 grand a year and stuff. How do you have so much assets? You didn't get it from your job.
No.
And somebody down the line, it's a pyramid, and the illegal bailiffs with fake warrants are at the bottom of it. But yes, the money is feeding through up to the bosses, the top of Marston's bailiffs, which many people, I think they're in Ireland as well. Garrett Hughes, his salary is 11 million, and that's only the official declared salary. I'm sure they're getting a lot more. Right. We've never seen a valid Marston's warrant. Never, ever, 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 ever. Marston's head office, the Marston's head office is the same address as the Birmingham High Court.
Wow.
And when you look on their website, you can Google it right now. You can Google it now. On the website, a big thing running across, a banner saying, "We are the UK's biggest provider of judicial services." Judicial. Nobody can provide judicial services, Sean. Only a judge can judge. But Marston's got it on their website.
Yes.
So,
So where does Trump stand at the moment then?
You know what? I was in Trump's position-ish when I was where the lawyer said, "We can't help you because we're professionally embarrassed." Bearing in mind, these same lawyers, at the behest of Trump, were fighting a big gun law battle, pro gun thingy, because Trump, and they won the case for Trump, and now they won't take on the fake warrant. So it's a heavy subject. So I'll tell you a quick story. We have a client called Hezron Johnson. Yeah. He was repossessed, illegal, and his neighbor, a lady called Deborah Sampson, was there trying to assist or whatever. So the police arrested Deborah Sampson on the basis that she was obstructing the police and the bailiff in their duty. Right. So she went to the magistrate's court on trial, and she had a lawyer. So she and her lawyer said, "Where is the warrant on which we were obstructing the bailiff and the police?" And the court decided that the warrant was fake, was fraudulent, and so they dropped they threw out the prosecution. So the lady.
I think there are good judges. Sorry, carry on.
Well, he has a twist in the end. So the court threw out the case because the warrant was fraudulent. So the guy who was a victim of the illegal eviction, Hezron Johnson and his wife, they thought, "Yeah, we won the lottery now. The fraudulent warrant, we're gonna clean up." The lawyer who won the case wrote him a letter. "Mr. Johnson or Mrs. Samson, I regret to tell you, I'm not able to take on any more cases on this warrant.
Okay.
Because somebody slapped him on the wrist
Right.
and said, why you're not allowed to go here? You understand? You're not allowed to go here. So
I do. Yeah, I even went to a TD, which is an MP in
Mhm.
Ireland,
yeah,
and told him my whole story.
right.
And he said, "Oh, don't worry, Sean. I'll have you back in your home. Everything will be sorted and everything." His name's Sean Canny,
Mhm.
and he canny do what he said he would, because he ended up phoning me back and saying, "I want nothing to do with this," and hung up.
So somebody slapped him on the wrist.
Somebody gets to them.
Yeah. You see,
Yes.
your Irish buddy, Walter Graham. Yeah.
Oh yeah, Walter's a great man. Yeah.
He had a lot of problems a long time. He got a lot of press coverage in the wrong way. He came to me to help him with this liability order and whatever, and warrants, the same thing. I drafted a letter for him to send to the court. Can you confirm if you issued this, based on this law or whatever? And within a few days, the court came back and said, no, we didn't issue this. And he took the letter to his MP, equivalent of the MP, because they were trying to take his house, right? And that's why he has his house today.
Yes.
So even in Ireland, everywhere, the process is the same. You have to have.
Okay, well, I might need that type of help.
You know what? Sometimes if you keep your questions simple and to the point, there's a lot of skill and tactics to do it, but basically you got to do it. But there are levels, even to ask a simple question, there are still 7, different levels of asking a simple question.
Indeed.
So, but you can at least ask, can you confirm, did you issue proceedings against me? Now, many people are asking for documents. If you ask for proceedings, it's the whole process is the proceedings. Document anybody can print off in their van. There was a bailiff came to my ex-wife, Sean, and she asked him for the warrant. Do you know what he said? He said, I don't have it, but I can print it off in the van and give you a copy.
Really?
I used to make a joke that they're printing it in the van, but here it was actually true. So I can print it off in the van. I went to the Chancery Court in London. A lot of people talking about Chancery and Equity Court and all this. And I was dressed up in a suit and I looked like a solicitor at the time. So she automatically assumed I'm from the claimant. They stole my flat on this thing. So I asked for a copy of the warrant and stuff. She goes, we don't have anything here, but I can make one up for you, sir. Would you like me to go make one up for you? There and then. This is the Chancery, the High Court in London, number 1 Fetter Lane.
Yeah, that's just balls out corruption, isn't it?
But this is all what is going on. We have people, let's say, we have a complaint system here called Resolver, where you can put a complaint or request things. And we've seen many cases where you put a question on Resolver, say to the council, and you will get an answer from the bailiff's lawyer. How did they know you filed something on the council's computer? They're all in together.
Wow, yes.
Yeah. We've seen medical records filed in the court in confidence. I'm aware that client called Sandra Joseph, she filed in Northampton court a letter from a London address because she was sick and staying with a friend.
Yes.
The lawyer wrote to her at her friend's address. That means the lawyer is in the court file. I don't think there is any court file. The lawyer has the file, and they're using the court address and building. We've seen your friend Nilo Berry send us a registered post to the bailiff and the Willesden Magistrate Court. See the bailiff, registered signed for post. And the signature for the bailiff and the Willesden Magistrate Court is the same signature that signed for the post. Are you there? I hope we haven't lost Sean.
Incredible.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, so the same
Oh,
signature.
still there?
Yeah, I'm here. Are you hearing me? Gone quiet for a
Sorry,
minute.
carry on.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I'm sorry about that. I had an interruption.
Okay, sure. Yeah, so I believe what is happening with Donald Trump could bring down, like, I don't like to use the word bring down, because the people, the public has already been brought down. Everybody is living under such unnecessary pressure and harassment. Even the ones who are coping, they're coping with a lot of harassment, but they're just coping. Life shouldn't be this hard. And I think this could help to restore some the balance, because people are going to realize a lot of these warrants, if not maybe 99% of them, it's just totally fabricated, and the people making claims to them, it's a prescribed 7-year sentence per item. So until the law starts to be enforced against these people, they should be, the agents who came, the ones who sent, all the parties involved in Donald Trump's situation should face a trial.
Yes,
trial
absolutely.
for fabricating the process of the court, which is a huge. I had a Zoom meeting with the crime commissioner, Anthony Stansfield, and somebody else was on there. They said it can carry up to life imprisonment. So
Wow.
the thing is, to finish it off, people just need to ask questions. We put that document up from the time we were on your show last year, called Check My Code File. We're going to try and put the link back on your podcast, and we're going to put a video on YouTube after your podcast is released. And just give people that little energy to fight back, and some tools. And we're going to keep improving our effectiveness on what we can do. This is my contribution to humanity, Sean. And just like yourself, we just got to take it to the next level with these guys. And if Donald Trump can be facing this, it shows you it's not how rich and powerful you are. Nasty is nasty.
Yes, I mean, it's pure evil. I mean, do we need to bring the Bar Association down? I mean, do they need to be disbanded, and those people are arrested for supporting all this crime?
All we need to do is just make sure the law is enforced. Whether you're Bar Association or Freemason or Talmudic Jew, or I don't care what you are. If you've done it wrong, you must pay the price. You must face a trial. That's all. Do you see what I mean?
Yes.
Who is going to fall is going to fall, but think of who is going to rise. How many great people out there have been kept down by unnecessary asset stripping and false imprisonment and stuff and so on. So we're going to do our bit, and we're doing our bit, and God bless people like yourself, Sean. That is the new way forward, where people make their own information, their own news, not a diluted and edited version of facts. That will get the real.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't understand why half truths are being given to people, so that I suppose it's to create confusion, is it?
No, they have to give you some of the truth to show that they're credible. Every now and again, somebody will win a case in the court because they have to show that the court is working, and that case will get a lot of publicity. But it will be disproportionate because out of that one case, it doesn't represent the other millions and millions of false cases. So people have a different perception from the reality that's out there. They turn up in a court of law for what they believe is a court of law. They believe they're getting a fair crack of the whip against their adversary, and they're not. And if your adversary happens to be one of the people in the gang, in the pyramid of terror, you've got zero chance.
Don't be telling me that.
No, but you have knowledge now that you're going through a tough time, but you can smile in your heart because you have a knowledge that they're fake, and it's gonna come through in your body language. Look at the conversation we're having now. None of those assholes can come and do a video to counter what we're saying.
No,
exactly. They're already hiding.
Yes, I mean they can lump more crap on us, I suppose.
More fake paper, more. You see, we're gonna have to reach a critical mass. The American Revolution was achieved with somebody told me 3.5% of the population. Not 90%. There's a song out. We are the 99%. We don't need 99%. We just need 5%. So there is so much.
Well, let's work on that.
We're working hard, and there's a lot of other great people out there, and I learn from them as well. And people just making their own. There's a lot of shill and false people. But one thing why I started to work on the false court order, because there's so many facets. The child part of it. There's so many different angles on it. But the thing is, I focus on this because I realize on this element, there is no debate. It's not debatable whether the court process is legitimate or false because it speaks for itself. So that's why I chose. Carry on.
Well, I'm saying they either follow due process or they don't.
Simple, and that's why I embarked on this court order scam campaign, because there is no debate. It is or it is. You can't be half pregnant.
This is true. Well, look, the evil side of it as well is what I think keeps you going and other people going too. Because I didn't know about the child trafficking. I didn't know about the ruination of families, splitting up families and taking children into different parts of the society and then them being abused within it. It's just incredible what is going on. And there is factual evidence to say that is going on.
Oh, well, this is a lot of evidence out there. But the thing is, there was a guy called Gordon Bowden. He dedicated his life to this subject after he retired.
Yes, Gordon was on my show very, very often, along with John Patterson and a few others.
Yeah.
And I really do hope that people will look back on my old interviews with Gordon Bowden. Rest in peace.
Well, yeah. So he used to investigate this number 788 Finchley Road, which is near where I live, and
yes.
250,000 companies registered there. All the politicians, David Cameron, Tony Blair. Tony Blair's got a company there called Windrush Ventures Limited. So all this. And Gordon Bowden said, they use these children that they got as the child sex slaves. It is the currency of the elite. Every weekend.
It's so unbelievable to people, isn't it? Because it's so evil.
All they do, they take people's kids. They say we have a court order. So let us say there was a bad mother or somebody going through a bad time in life and they have some problem. They can't cope with the kids. Maybe those kids need to be taken. Or maybe temporarily, whatever. But when you come along with a false court order or lie that you have a court order, that means your intentions are not good. Just think about that. And anybody who have problem with the child being taken and stuff. I mean, there was one woman on Facebook saying, well, I got 2 children. They are trying to take 1. So if I'm a bad mother, why would they leave 1 with me? So
that's remarkable. I've heard that, yes.
Yeah, so the thing is, from my perspective, my effort, my work is question the court order. Because if they're fabricating a court order against you, what else would they do?
Yes, yes. Well, there are no children. Both my son and daughter are both adults now, so I escaped that, I suppose. But then I probably wasn't a pain in their side or thorn in their side until maybe the radio show.
Well, the thing is, they just operate. I believe and I suspect what happens is the working on the false court order has become the norm. I mean, if you call the police and say there's a bailiff here, they will automatically help the bailiff. If you say the bailiff has a fake warrant, they will automatically tell you it's a civil matter. It's not a civil matter. It's forgery. It's counterfeiting.
That's criminal.
But yeah, so all the police in Ireland, UK, Wales, everywhere, this is how they that's their normal mode of operating. And
yes,
so the system is built and run on this basis, and until I'm hoping that with the power of social media like we have, like these programs and things, we can make some big change, and the nasty people will leave. In my case alone, it's countless people have resigned, and hopefully they're being replaced by some better people. But the system has to be policed by the public. We can't leave the police is our employees. We can't leave them to police themselves.
No, that's obvious now, isn't it?
Yeah. So I think we have to just deal with case by case and re-educate people until we reach a critical mass, until it doesn't happen anymore. That's my kind of wish and hope. And I think everybody must have a plan. People want to go and live and live their life and go on holidays and pay their bills and not take any responsibility for the running of the system. This is a complete mistake. Everybody got to do a bit to run the system. It's not the government to run the system. Government is working for us. We are running the system. But what has happened? They have taken over the show.
Yeah.
And Boris Johnson can sit there having parties and telling us to lock down because they think they are the bosses.
Yes, they're above us. So where does Trump stand right now?
Personally, I think Trump is going to have to do what I do. But you see, he could do a private prosecution. He could do whatever. What I would recommend Donald Trump do is go and read www.scambuster.tv and see that nobody is above the victim of false court order. And when you become a victim, you can't get another court order to turn over the fake. And all the doors are closed. And it does not rest with the judiciary or the government. It rests with the public. And if Mr. Trump comes out in his election and say, I am going to restore the justice system, you give me a chance. Forgive me for all the fake warrants I've done myself. This is the hard part. Yeah.
Yes.
That's the hard part he's going to have. So, but
can we not as people forgive all the lawyers and solicitors that have been entrapped in the judicial mockery and fakery that exists. Can we not just like debt forgiveness, give them forgiveness for those warrants in the past and just hope that they move on in the future, doing it properly with due process?
I remember one time when the child sexual abuse thing came out in the church, and they said any priests who want to resign, we're not going to ask you any questions. And most of them resigned straight away. I don't know what the answer is, to be honest. I think personally, I think we got to get back a little bit more to people representing themselves, because when a lawyer represents you, he doesn't know anything about the case. He's only going on hearsay, what you said, what she said. They have no first-hand knowledge. So we're going to get back more people representing them. A lot of great cases like Robert White, Michael Obernisho, a lot of great cases. It's people representing themselves, which is very hard, but it can be comforting having a lawyer represent you. But when you find out that the lawyer cannot address the real crime in your case, then you're wasting your time and your money.
Well, can I ask you a question? I've been obviously in family court, and
Yeah.
that's, you know, in camera, etc.
Yeah.
And I have been presenting myself,
Right.
with my knowledge, with the knowledge I got from yourself and people like Robert Sproul and many other people with great information. I've been able to not be incarcerated, which is what they wanted to happen. I'm not being put into a mental home, which is what they wanted me to happen, or a prison. And I'm still here, but I'm still fighting it. I've been instructed by so many people that I have to, and I need a lawyer for my case.
Well, this is the thing, right? It's not whether you need a lawyer or not. Yeah. You need your case. You understand? You have a case. You have a case against you.
But they've ignored.
Yeah. Fine, they're ignoring. Yeah, right. They're ignoring you. So the idea is, if you get a lawyer, he will. They will not ignore him.
Yes, that's the point.
So I've assisted a lot of people. What they do when they get a lawyer, they give the lawyer an instruction, because the lawyer has to work on your instruction, isn't it?
Well, I hope so, yes.
No, but you put the instruction in writing. Dear Mr. Lawyer, you know, I appreciate your helping me. I want you to obtain the case management records, this, that for me, please, so that we can move on forward.
Yes.
Everybody who has ever done that where I know, the lawyer has resigned from the case. Okay. You know, we got a guy called George Carter, Sean. You've probably heard of him. We're calling him London George. In the last just over 12 months, I've been helping him. We had 20 cases dropped in the criminal court. 20. By him sticking to the guns and asking, where is the information that was laid against me? We had the council chief resign, police chief resign, so many resign. The thing is, before he came to me, do you know how many lawyers he hired and paid? Have a wild guess.
4 or 5?
54.
What?
And he has them all. He's going to publish them somewhere. He's them all, name, address, phone, not everything. 54 lawyers took money off this guy, and none of them asked. And I asked for, I sent an email for him. Asked the court. This is 20 years he's been fighting, yeah? I sent an email to the High Court in London. Dear Mr. High Court, blah, blah, blah. I had a trial on this court, this case number. Would you be kind enough to give me a copy of the sealed order? Within 5 days, they replied, we don't have any such order. 20 years, no lawyer asked this question.
Right. So are you saying that if I get a lawyer for my family court proceedings, which is on the 21st of September, by the
Yeah.
way, actually, that they should just act on my behalf, so on my instruction. And does that mean if they do, that the case will be dropped?
If the lawyer act on your instruction, so you're saying to the lawyer, get me the certain things, which if you get those things, yeah, it will show that it's a fabricated case.
Right.
So that means you don't even need a trial. As a matter of fact, all your lawyer had to do was ask for some redress for you, and he could get a massive fee for himself. But will he do it?
Well, I don't know. I've got
no. Well, okay. Let me change the question. Can he do it?
Well, they can, but will they?
No, but they can physically, but professionally, with the bar association and all this and their own back catalog, are they gonna go there? And then the other question is, if you get a lawyer who is gonna pussyfoot around the edge and not ask the question, not obtain the case, so how are you gonna defend the case? You don't have the case. Come on. Do you know there was a guy called Tariq Zahid that I was helping, and he had a lawyer. And he drafted a lawyer. David Castle is the name of the lawyer. Apparently been helping the family a long time, very nice man, all that stuff. But he said to the lawyer, please, I want you to get me the warrant, the case management, the lay of information, please, in preparation for the trial. Do you know what the reply he had from David Castle?
Go on.
You need to see a psychiatrist. This was in writing.
Wow. Obviously, because the lawyer is a doctor and sensed a bit of mental disability or whatever. Yeah.
No. Yeah. Because
I'm being sarcastic.
Yeah, the fabricated case and fake warrants. You're mentally ill if you actually ask to verify. So this is the problem with the lawyer. In my case, I was being sentenced allegedly in Harrow Crown Court in my case, and after the lawyer resigned, I never got another lawyer, and I faced Judge Greenwood. It's tough. They have me in the box. The prison van is waiting, blah, blah, blah. Every time he opens his mouth, I ask him, where is the sealed order, Your Honor, that you're sentencing me on? Do you know how many times I ask him the same question, Sean?
Go on.
50 times.
I'm sure, yeah.
Because this is the only question I needed on the day. I don't need nothing more. And you know what? In the end, he didn't send me to jail. If I had a lawyer, what would have happened? And when you have a lawyer and you sign the lawyer's agreement, sure, included, buried in the agreement is a power of attorney. They need a lawyer to send you down.
Right.
You're not gonna sign your own demise.
So are you recommending that I carry on presenting myself?
There's only one thing I'm recommending. Yeah?
Okay.
You demand the case file.
Yes.
The case management.
I've done that and they've totally ignored me.
Well, you have to find a way to escalate your activity. You have to make it, well, can't do this on the air, but you have to make it turn into like a counterclaim. You understand?
Right.
Because once you according to the law of estoppel, yeah?
Yes.
You shouldn't have to ask someone the same thing many times.
No.
You ask them once, then you give them an opportunity, and then they are now guilty for concealment. It's done.
And can you explain estoppel to me?
That's just a common law process where, you know, if you and I have business and I ask you for some information, I don't have to ask you for 20 years. There has to be a closure on the matter.
Yes.
So if I structure my letter nicely, there, Mr. Sean, could you confirm and provide this and that and that? You ignore it, okay? So the next time I don't write and ask you the same thing, that's just waste of time. I say, Sean, I asked you such a thing on such a date. You didn't provide the answer. I'm giving you an opportunity to resolve the matter by providing me the answer within 14 more days.
Right. We're going to have to talk off air.
I know that's what, but I'm just saying you have to escalate. You can't just stay on the same level all the time.
Yes.
And
Yes.
you know, then that's your closure. That you've done everything possible. So as far as you're concerned, there is no case against you because here is my documents. I've made the request, and there has been no compliance. So the only conclusion is there is no such case issued by the court. These documents
Well, here's the situation, is that every single time I've asked the same questions, I've ended up the court not putting me in prison and not putting me in a mental ward, but instead releasing me on bail.
No, fine. But you see, sometimes you don't win by a knockout in life. You win round by round. You are free, essentially, to fight your case and to press the button. And you also experience a restriction on your liberty, which you want the clarification straight away, because although you're not in jail, your liberty is still restricted.
Absolutely.
So you want to verify and clarify, first of all, that it's not an error. Yeah. And secondly, it's not fraud. And it's a perfectly reasonable.
Of course it is.
Aye.
Of course it is. And you know, I'm 57 years old. I've got no criminal records. It's incredible. I've just recently obtained common law birth certificate and a common law fictitious names document, and also because of my medical situation, a medical marijuana certificate as well. Are they useful to me?
You know, I get these kind of questions so often.
Yes.
Everything is useful and valid and valued. There's so much stuff out there. But listen to this show. Unless and until you can enforce it. Because if you got a mafia gang coming around with tasers and prepared to kick your door in with fake warrants, what on earth is your common law birth certificate going to do? You understand? In theory, it should work. Yeah. But you're dealing with people, violent people, people who are fucking little children.
Yeah, thugs.
So you understand documentation and trust law and equity. I'm getting so much of this, but that's not the problem. The problem is we got a violent gang of people in public office. And until we can focus on that and try to do something, having your status change and your passport and your this and your that, according to them, they have a warrant for my arrest. I just went on holidays and come back to the airport 50-50 thinking I'm going to be arrested. But there was nothing in the system, obviously.
No, of course. Yes. Very good.
You understand?
So, I do. I also have a common law passport now. Is that workable?
I love all these things, but this is the problem. It doesn't. If you got someone who is violent and can't get in trouble, technically, what protection you have against this kind of person? And when the person is from the prime minister right down to the council chief, to the chief constable, to the Citizens Advice Bureau.
Yeah.
You understand? So when the world is going to wake up that stopping court order scam is going to cure so many things, yeah,
Absolutely.
they will call me Dr. Badaloo.
Well, I think you are Dr. Badaloo. There you go. It's even a higher recommendation than Dr. Doolittle, because these are animals. We need to talk to them.
I'm telling you. So, yeah. Are we done?
Sorry.
Are we done?
No. Well, I really wanted to find out at the end, I suppose,
Uh-huh.
where Trump. Do you remember the question where Trump stands at the moment?
Well, where Trump stands now is Trump stands like all of us under the law,
Yes.
under the common law. You stand on your own 2 feet. You understand?
Right. Do you think he will take them on?
His back is on the wall now. Yeah.
So he has.
It's like when I went into Harrow Crown Court, my solicitor said he was professionally embarrassed. I had to stand there and battle it with the judge, and I stuck to my guns.
Yes.
Every time, till 7 p.m. I was in the dock, and the prison van was out there. And when I finished, the judge couldn't justify. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because if anybody listened to that recording or that transcript or whatever, it's the one thing. The next morning, Sean, Mr. Greenwood, the judge, never came back to work again ever. That was the last day of his career.
Well, I was in a courtroom and 2 judges. Well, one judge ran away after reading my documents, I presume. I don't know why. And then we had to wait for another judge. That judge turned up and then didn't take the seat. And then we waited for another judge, and she did. And when she did, that was the first time I got my money back, my disability allowance, my invalidity pension.
Yeah.
I'm actually quite sick, and that's another thing, medical negligence and all the rest of it. Whoever does take on my case or help me with my cases, the payout is going to be outrageous. I think the recompense.
The problem is the payout could be outrageous, but you're going to rely on the same people to pay you out.
I know.
You know how many cases I've won. It's running.
Well, I don't want money. I just want my home back. I just want my life back.
You know, it's running into the hundreds. I mean, at the end of my campaign, what I'm going to do, or what I'm trying to do, is have some kind of PPI type compensation where you fill in forms. Once your court case turns out to be not legitimate, you get a certain fixed price thing from the Lord Chancellor. So that's where I want to push it and escalate it. But we're not there yet. We're building certain foundational things, and
so something I found quite incredible, because I do think it's just a criminal cabal in Tuam, County Galway, that's causing me grief. When I've met, I mean, obviously when I was first released, the Garda were there every single night, making sure I was not breaching my bail conditions, which were ridiculous. But then that's petered off now, because people have heard my side of the story. Individual guards have heard my side of the story. And what has absolutely battered me here in Ireland is I've asked many Garda, are they on Garda Síochána under their oath to the people as they should be?
Yeah.
Or are they Garda Incorporated working for the British Crown? And the interesting thing is, they don't know. They don't bloody know, Anthony.
You know,
because I think there's good people in the Garda, and it's just this few corrupt that are keeping the, well, maybe they're the Freemason handshakes. I'm guessing, you know, I'm fact.
You know,
maybe they're just part of the club.
We're all capable of good, and we're all capable of bad. So some people go in the force or in the service with the intention to do good. Probably all of them are.
Absolutely.
But then they slowly get ingrained, told off. They got the paycheck pressure.
Yeah.
They get bonuses. When you reach a certain
Yeah.
level, you start getting these children on the weekends to molest.
Oh God.
And like they say in the song,
surely that's when people stand up and say, no, I'm not into that.
I don't know. I don't know. I mean, I know there's some police officers have signed the petition. So maybe those ones are not into it. But the thing is, they drag you in slowly, and it might be with they have ways, you understand? They have ways. A lot of the people in the police, what we discovered is the bailiffs are sending their own people to join the police. So they're actually real police, but they originated from being a bailiff boy, you know?
Wow, it's incredible. I mean, we've got Drew Harris, who isn't even Irish police. He's, basically British. So it's really crazy what's going on. Anthony Badaloo, I really want you to keep up your great work.
Thank you.
You've certainly helped me. I genuinely would be in prison or a mental ward right now, based on lies and false court orders, if it wasn't for you and your knowledge and your sharing of that.
We try, and a lot of people want to help us. I tell you, we're getting some very nice feedback on Twitter from the Canadian people, because they've seen my work and they're saying, wow, look at this guy, why is he, so you know what, it's difficult. It's a conundrum, because the people inside who want to change, they have a problem, and the people outside who want to change. So somehow we have to migrate. There has to be some shuffling around. But it is not.
Maybe, they're sending bailiffs in to join the Garda and the police. Maybe we should try and stand up and not hate the police, but go and join it and clean it out.
Oh, whatever you do in life, you just try to be. Nobody's perfect, but you just try to be the best human being you can be.
Yes.
And you got the forces of good and the forces of evil always going to be, the pendulum is going to swing one way and the other. But you just be a force for good. And sometimes when the pendulum is swinging your way, it's going to look glorious. When the pendulum is swinging the other way, it looks like you're wasting your time, but you should be yourself through all weather.
Yes. So look, www.scambuster.tv. Are you linked at all to scambuster.org, or is that
no? There's a lot of people, a lot of copycats, even the petition. We got search engines redirecting. There's a lot of problem. If you want to support my work and what I do, you have to work a little hard, because we have a lot of money being spent to divert the algorithm. But the thing is, we're there, and we just have to keep. If we weren't good and important, they wouldn't be investing the money to push us down the algorithm. So we gotta realize that there's great value in this negativity.
Yeah. Well, look, Anthony Badaloo, you stayed on much longer than I anticipated, or we anticipated.
I'm on overtime, man.
Yeah. I pay my. Do you know what? I was told recently that I charge people for coming on my show.
I think you should do, to be honest. But do you know who signed the petition, Sean? Talking about radio presenters. Chris Evans.
Oh, good man, Chris.
I wish he would just broadcast it to his audience. It would help so much, but I'm sure he can't.
No, he will. His hands and his
yeah.
So look, scambusters.tv, to stop court order scam. There is a petition on the site. It's mainly a petition site. There's so much there. Do you have a YouTube channel as well? Yeah,
it's called Scambuster TV without the dot, and My name is Anthony Badaloo. So we're trying to we've been banned and restored in different places. So it's a little fragmented. My main place is Facebook. I'm on the Anthony Badaloo, and we're putting together like a little blog with all the social links. But the main thing is Facebook. You know, we got the petition scambuster.tv, and we got the YouTube channel Scambuster TV, which you will pick up one and the other from. One will lead to the next. But we're working.
Put the link to the podcast page.
We're working to get it streamlined, and we're working on some what's it called? We're working on something to try and assist victims in a little bit more direct and financial way. I won't reveal too much.
No.
And we are working to also try to incentivize supporters, because ain't nothing so painful as a good man with an empty pocket. It's not good.
Tell me about it. But look, I'm struggling so much, and I have been helped, and I want to thank the people that have helped me. But I'm really, really struggling. So if anyone's got a spare £5 or a tenner, they want to pop into my Revolut or my PayPal, please. I need a bit of help at the moment.
Just imagine now how much donations the Tory party or the Labour Party are getting from people,
Crazy.
Good people out there. So we got to find a way to tap into some resources. And I would love, listen to this, Sean. I'm going to share a little bit of my dream, what I would love to do one day, maybe sooner than later. Okay. Somebody got illegally repossessed, a single mother with kids, and they want to take the kids. And we just turn up there, a group of us, and say to this lady, here is a house. Here's a fucking house. We just buy a house cash and give it to her. That must, if the papers don't publish that, and then we can give up. I would love to do that. And you know, it might happen. I don't know. We'll see.
Well, I've just lost my house, and I haven't got children. I don't even mind sharing a house with other people in the same problem. No.
Yeah, but we're gonna get practical. We're gonna get practical, and there is such a thing as crowdfunding. It's the public. We're gonna take the public. Government is only funding what suits them and what is part of their network. Yes. I applied for funding to a place where I qualified in every way. They go, sorry, you don't qualify because of the work I do. So, but we're gonna, you know, the crowd is a crowd. So we're gonna do some interesting things.
Yeah, I mean, because I applied for HAP, they call it over here, housing application for benefit to help me with getting another place for rent, etc. And because I own my own home, which they've taken off me, I'm not eligible.
Yeah, it's mad. It's mad.
It is. It's absolutely mad. So, Anthony Badaloo, thank you so much. And I know, are you still working with Andy Devine doing things?
Yeah. I kind of cooled off with Andy because Sean Gissing came along, and she had better tits than me. So okay. Andy got a bit blinded and distracted. Okay. But we're still good. We're still good. No problem. I've been slow as well. I've been doing some personal things, which I've not been. I've been on and off on there. They have a Zoom called the Global Jury, which is a fantastic effort and idea. I've come on there a little bit from time to time, but I want to do once a week something like this Donald Trump thing on different topics. That's my goal, to be consistent and persistent.
Well, you know that you are welcome on Out of the Bag anytime you want to share.
Yeah, we're going to structure things a little bit more. We've got half a dozen great people who are enrolled to assist, and we're moving. I've been doing, like I said, I was working a little deeper on things and working on some personal things and stuff, but it's all good. It's all go. And you know, every time the pendulum swings one way, it swings the other. So it's just goodness all around.
Well, that's fantastic. Look, Anthony Badaloo, I won't keep you any longer. I know that you've taken a lot of time out for this interview at such short notice. I thank you so much for coming again on Out of the Bag. Thank you, Anthony.
Cheers, Sean. God bless.
And God bless to you. And I'm going to say goodbye now and carry on with the show.
All right. Marvelous. Okay. I'll tune in on the other side. All right.
Lovely. Thank you so much.
Cheers.
Take care.
Bye.